Amber froze as she opened her door, not because of the line of luxury cars outside, but because 19 strangers in suits were staring at her, as if she had something the world needed. Just 3 days earlier, she was fired from her job for fixing a little boy's broken bike. No one knew her name until a video went viral and turned her ordinary life into something no one saw coming. Hey everyone, welcome to Legacy Tales. Let's start the story. It was almost closing time at the downtown retail chain. Amber had just finished folding the last pile of kids' clothes when she heard the clink of a chain dragging on tile. She turned, and there he was, a boy, maybe 7 or 8, holding the bent remains of a small blue bicycle. One handlebar was twisted, the front wheel slightly cracked, and the kid had grease on his cheek like war paint. He looked embarrassed, like he'd entered a place meant for polished people, not for broken bikes. "Can someone fix this?" he asked, barely above a whisper. Amber looked around. Her manager, Rick, was at the front counter, scrolling on his phone, totally unaware. This wasn't a bike shop. It was a clothing store. But the kid didn't seem to know that. Or maybe he just didn't care. "It's for my little sister," he mumbled. "She cries when it doesn't work." There was no policy for this, no section in the manual about what to do when a child shows up with a broken bike and a trembling voice. But Amber had been here long enough to know one thing. Sometimes, people don't need permission to do what's right. She knelt beside the bike, examined it, then said, "Give me 10 minutes." Rick noticed her missing and found her outside near the service entrance, her sleeves rolled up, hair tied back, trying to realign a bent frame using tools she'd found in the stockroom. "You've got customers inside," Rick snapped. "What is this, a workshop now?" Amber calmly replied, "He's just a kid. I'll be back in 5. "You're done," he said. "Clock out. You don't work here anymore." Just like that. 2 years of late nights, double shifts, and never once being late, gone over a bike. Amber didn't argue. She handed the boy his now fixed ride, smiled, and walked home with grease still under her nails. Her apartment was quiet, cold. The kind of cold that doesn't come from winter. It comes from having no backup plan. She sat on her couch, not even thinking about what just happened. She just stared at her hands. She had done the right thing, hadn't she? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She didn't feel like talking to anyone, but something in her gut told her to pick up. "Amber Collins?" the voice asked. "Yeah. There are 19 millionaires standing outside your apartment building." She blinked. "What?" "You might want to open the door." Amber hesitated. The call had ended as suddenly as it started. No explanation, no name, just that one strange sentence still echoing in her head. She stood slowly, walked toward her apartment door, heart pounding like it knew something she didn't. As she turned the handle, the hallway light flickered once. Just nerves, she told herself. Then she opened the door. Outside stood a line of black cars. Sleek, silent, expensive. Parked along the curb like a scene from a movie. And in front of them, scattered across the entrance to her building, were people. Not bodyguards, not celebrities. Just regular-looking men and women, in suits, jackets, and even one in a Hawaiian shirt, all staring up at her like she was someone important. A woman stepped forward, mid-40s maybe, sharp eyes, gentle smile. "You're Amber?" she asked. "Yeah. Who are you people? We're the ones who've been looking for someone like you." Amber narrowed her eyes. "This a prank?" The woman shook her head. "Number, we saw what you did. With the boy. The bike. You gave up your job to fix something that wasn't your responsibility. Not for money, not for clout, just because it was the right thing. But how did you..." The woman pulled out her phone, played a video. Amber watched as the grainy footage showed her crouched outside, working on the bike. The little boy beside her, hugging her when it was done. Someone had recorded it, quietly, without her knowing. The caption said, "This woman just lost her job for helping a kid. I don't know her name, but someone needs to find her." Amber stared. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of comments, and dozens of stitched videos. Strangers vowing to help her, companies offering jobs, influencers asking for her contact. But that wasn't even the shocking part. The woman continued, "We're part of something called Project Ripple. We're investors, founders, CEOs, doctors, artists. Every one of us started with nothing. We made it. And we agreed. Whenever we find someone who still believes in doing the right thing without needing a reason, we give back." Amber was silent. Not out of shock, but because her brain couldn't find the right question to ask. Another man stepped forward, older, bald, wearing a navy pin on his coat. He held out a letter. Amber opened it. It wasn't a check. It wasn't a job offer. It was a contract? "Read the last line," the man said. She did. "Full funding for your dream. No strings attached. Just tell us what it is." Her hands trembled. "And if you're wondering why 19 of us came in person," the woman added, "it's because each of us wants to be the first to say, 'We believe in you.'" Amber didn't speak for a while. She held the letter like it was something fragile, like it might vanish if she blinked too hard. Her throat tightened. She had no dream. Not a real one, at least. Just scattered thoughts from nights she couldn't sleep. Scribbles in a notebook no one had ever seen. Ideas she'd shoved aside because life never made space for them. But now, 19 strangers were standing in front of her, offering her something she'd never even dared to ask for. A chance. "What if I don't know what I want?" she finally whispered. "You don't have to," the Navy man said. "Just don't forget who you are. We're not investing in a product, we're investing in you." And suddenly, it all hit her. The unpaid bills on the fridge, the 3 part-time jobs, the way her manager never even learned her last name, all of it. And still, she'd fixed that bike, without hesitation. Maybe she was worth investing in. 3 months later, Amber stood on a quiet patch of city sidewalk next to a building with her name on the glass. Amber's Corner, a community repair cafe. Kids came to fix broken skateboards, moms came to learn how to patch up strollers, old men brought toasters they swore still had some life in them. There were no appointments, no fees, just shelves of tools, long wooden tables, and a rule written in blue chalk on the front wall. "Fix what you can. Leave what you've learned." She didn't advertise. She didn't have to. The story had already traveled far beyond the city, translated, reposted, dubbed into other languages. Amber's act of kindness had lit something inside millions of people. And then one morning, a boy walked in. Same hair, same big eyes. The kid with the blue bike. This time he held something different. A folder. "I drew this for you," he said shyly, placing it in her hands. Inside was a crayon sketch, her fixing his bike. And behind her, 19 stick figure people holding signs that said, "Thank you." Amber smiled, tears quietly rising. As the boy turned to leave, she called out, "Hey, what's your sister's name?" He stopped. "Sister? You said the bike was for your little sister." He paused. "I don't have a sister," he said softly. "I just thought you'd help if I said that." Amber stared at him, frozen, processing. "Then why'd you come to me?" she asked. The boy shrugged. "Because," he said, "you looked like someone who would care." And with that, he walked out. Amber stood there, folder pressed to her chest, shaken by a truth she hadn't seen coming. The story she thought she understood had another twist all along, And somehow, that made it even more perfect.